Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Dylan, welcome back to my channel, and for the record, I absolutely love Tesla. I have nothing against Tesla as a company, as a brand. I think they're a great, amazing company that makes amazing cars. However, I just had some issues with the car that I got. So this is in no way against Tesla, and I just wanted to clear the air. And this is also a follow-up video because I did previously make a video on my Tesla return experience, and for whatever reason, a lot of people didn't like it, so I wanted to just come forth and tell you exactly in a very succinct manner, because I know I was really stressed out when I did make that video. You know, it was a huge purchase that I did decide to make. After returning the car, I just was not in a good state. You know, I was just really stressed out, and I was also had some migraines that I'm dealing with that hopefully are dwindling a little bit. But anyways, without further ado, I'm just gonna hop right into exactly what happened, and as quickly as possible, I'm gonna go through why I returned my Tesla Model 3. Again, I have nothing against Tesla, and I actually do love the company a lot, and even so much that I did decide to buy a Tesla Model 3. This was about 2 weeks ago when well, maybe about 2.5 weeks ago by now, when I did place my order for the Tesla Model 3. And I was on the fence about getting one for a while. However, when I saw that they did have a 7-day return policy, I went ahead and bought the car, because Tesla states on their website that you can purchase a car and return it within 7 days or 1,000 miles for a full refund. So I thought that was really cool, and I went ahead and made my purchase. I really had no real intention of returning the car, but I thought that, you know, if I got the car and really didn't like it for whatever reason, that I could always return it. And this is something that I also do with Amazon purchases as well. You know, they do usually have a 30-day money back. You know, you can return the item if you don't like it, or you know, you just have to pay for shipping, or if you, whatever, you didn't need the product or for whatever reason. So I do that a lot with Amazon. You know, I buy something knowing that I can return it, and usually for the most part I end up really liking it, but just that security knowing that I can return it. So that's exactly what happened with the Tesla Model 3. Now, first and foremost, the main reason that I did return the car was because of my knee pain. I had surgery when I was 11 years old on my ACL. I completely tore my ACL, MCL, and meniscus. It was a brutal accident that I had when I was 11 years old playing soccer, and then I re-tore it again when I was 20 years old. So it's been a couple years since that second surgery, but my knee is just always constantly hurting, and for whatever reason the car, it's seated really low, and it was really hurting my knee a lot. And by the, you know, a lot of people did ask, you know, why didn't I test drive a Tesla that would have easily fixed, you know, that issue. And I actually did drive a 2018. You can even see, if you can even go back on my channel before, and I drove a 2018 Tesla Model 3, and the car's, from my understanding, is pretty much the same, and I had no issues at all. And by this time, however, with the 2019 model, within the second or third day, it was just really hurting my knee a lot, to the point where I decided to end up returning it. I even went to my doctor and asked her, you know, why it was hurting my knee, and I'm going back to see my surgeon because I've never had an issue before with any car seats, but the Tesla Model 3 is just very short. It's a very short seat, and it's very cramped, and even my knee is hurting still right now, and it has been almost a week since I returned the car. So the knee pain is the main reason that I returned the car. However, there are some additional reasons why I ended up returning it as well that really just hit the nail on the head on why I didn't want the car. So the second reason is because of the backup noise. If you didn't know, electric cars are soon to be required to have backup noises because they are completely silent. And from my understanding, there might be some legal issues with that. You know, maybe a pedestrian might have gotten hit and they said that, you know, they couldn't hear the car backing up, whatever. I think it is also for people who, you know, are hard to seeing, who either might be blind or, you know, have bad eyesight. It's just an extra noise to warn pedestrians called PWS. And you know, I totally understand where they're coming from and why this is in place, and I'm all for safety. However, the backup noise on the Tesla Model 3, to anybody who might be thinking about purchasing one, they just started in September 2019. And guys, I have really sensitive ears. I get headaches really easily. I actually can't even use headphones, and so the backup noise is just so loud. It's giving me headaches all the time, and every time I went in reverse, I had to turn the music off, and it just got really loud. And again, I know this is like an issue that I know a lot of people were giving me a hard time about it, but you know, when you're buying a new car, you want to love it, you know, so much. And for me to have to turn off my music and get a headache every time I reverse, just, you know, I didn't want that. And also a lot of people said, oh, you know, you can just disable it. You can, you know, turn your wheel all the way to the right and just unplug it, you know. Now you never have to deal with it again. However, now you're actually jumping into a legal mess, because if you ever get into an accident and somebody finds out that it was disabled at the time of the accident, you could be personally be liable for any accidents. You know, your insurance is now not covering you because, you know, you're operating a car illegally, technically. And so if your insurance finds out that that's disabled and you actually hit somebody, I don't know, you know, this might be a rare case, but I just don't want to be a part of that. So I would not unhook it, even if I did still own the car. You know, I want to operate my car legally. I also was quite surprised that Tesla did not inform me that the car would have this really loud backup noise. And again, it's not even just like a loud noise, it's a loud annoying noise, and it's just super annoying. It's hard to explain unless you really experience it for yourself. All right, now the third reason that I did return the car was because of some defects that I saw with the car. When I got the car, the first defect that I noticed was that the side right mirror would not always open whenever I unlocked the car. So if you don't know, whenever you lock your car, the side mirrors fold in, and then when you unlock it, they fold out. And so, you know, that way when you're parked, they close in, and then when you get in your car to start driving, they open out. However, a lot of times the right one, so the right passenger side mirror, would just stay in. And so a lot of times I would just get in, start driving my car, and then when I would go to look to the right to change lanes or whatever, I noticed that the mirror was shut. And this is actually really dangerous, because when you're driving, you're trying to look over, it's completely shut. So there was actually a couple times where I had to pull over, lock the car, and then unlock it for it to, you know, open up, and I had to do it a few times. This could be a really easy fix to take it back in, but when you're buying a brand new car, you know, it's just not a great first impression to have that big of a defect on the car. I also did notice another defect in my backup camera. Whenever at night, when I would be backing up, I would notice a huge blur in the screen. It was like blocked off, and I don't know if that was technically a defect, but I couldn't even see backing up. And again, you know, I don't technically need a backup camera in order to back up. I can just look to the side. But when you know, that's what you're paying for when you're getting a car, and I just didn't receive that, you know, full experience. And again, this could be an easy fix, but you know, it just does not leave a good first impression. And the third possible defect was when I was backing up, I heard a really loud clicking noise. I don't know if that's another you know, industry standard that they're now putting on all the cars, but every time I backed up, I heard this loud clicking noise. And also another defect that I got when I was purchasing the car, I noticed this right away, was that the car actually had a huge scratch on the front right side, which before I got the car, they had to take it back to their I don't know, to their shop or whatever, and buff out the scratch. And again, these are really easy fixes, but you know, at the same time, when you're buying a brand new car, you don't want to take it home and have all these defects attached to it. You know, it's just not fun. The fourth reason I did return the car was because of, in my opinion, some poorly designed features of the car. You know, don't get me wrong, I think the Tesla Model 3 is the most beautiful car that I've ever driven, that I've ever been in. I think it's super aesthetically pleasing. You know, the outside, the front Porsche-like features, in the back, you know, the whole glass roof, everything about the car is pretty much, you know, amazing. However, there are some, in my opinion, some poorly designed features of the car. For one, the side panels that connect the windshield with the side mirrors are super large, to the point where you have a huge blind spot in your driver's side as well as on your passenger side. So whenever you're looking to change lanes, you know, I always look to the right, make sure there's no cars in front of me or behind me. And whenever I was having to change lanes, I would have to get up out of my seat and look around the huge side panels. And I don't know why they're so big. From my understanding, I hear that they are so big in order to support the large glass roof and glass windshield. And this probably was something that I could get used to in the car, so this wasn't a major reason why I returned the car. It was just something I didn't really necessarily like about it. I did also notice that the car is super small, and again, yes, I do understand that it's supposed to be small. It's pretty much a subcompact car, but I really just noticed kind of a feeling of claustrophobia. I get I guess, claustrophobia inside the car. I don't really have claustrophobia, but you just kind of feel squished in the car, and you just feel really small. But yeah, again, this is probably something I could get used to, but again, this is just something that I noticed and I wanted to share with you. All right, and the fifth reason I did return the car, and this one I did get some backlash in it in my previous video, but it is financial reasons. When I was buying the car, one of the reasons I was on the fence about it for so long is because it's a really expensive purchase. For me, I just graduated college, I'm not super rich, and probably can't really, afford a Tesla, whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, I was willing to make it work. I was willing to be frugal with my spending, with my eating out, just in my everyday life in order to, basically make up for the cost of the car. And, I was determined. I crunched the numbers and I budgeted out, and, I could make it work. I was planning on stop eating out all the time, which I really don't do now much anyway, but I was basically just gonna cut back a lot of my spending in order to afford the Tesla. However, after noticing all these things I didn't really like about it, my frugality and my decrease in my budget for other things really was not worth it in order to make up for the car that I didn't really like. So yes, if I absolutely love the car, I would make it work, but at the same time, if it just didn't feel worth it spending that much money on a car that I didn't really like. So that's the reason why I said for financial reasons, because at the end of the day, this is, it does cost money. And because of Tesla's amazing reputation about Tesla having such an amazing car, and I felt like I was changing the world, just one car at a time. I was being more sustainable, more environmentally friendly. I felt really cool driving a Tesla. Don't get me wrong, people do, whatever. People look at you when you're driving a Tesla, and I don't know, you build up this whole image of Tesla. And so when going and buying the car, I convinced myself that I could afford it. However, again, after all these things that I didn't really like about the car, it just didn't make sense to me. Sacrificing all my other life habits like entertainment, food, things in order to afford the car just didn't really make sense. It wasn't worth it to me anymore. Now, another reason that I actually didn't talk about in my previous video about why I returned the car, but this one I did definitely want to mention, is that the screen actually was giving me a headache. And I really don't talk about this too much because, this is pretty much a business channel, rideshare channel, where I talk about ways to make money. But I personally get really, really bad headaches, guys. I just want to be honest with you. I've been getting migraines for the past couple of months. I have had I went to the doctor about it. They're saying that it stems from my allergies. I am super allergic to cats, to dogs, as well as dust mites. And I get, I am currently only getting 10% oxygen, so I do have really bad asthma, which is why you see me wearing the black shirts all the time, because it's a really loose V-neck. Like this one is even a little bit tight. But a lot of times I wear a really loose black shirt because it allows me to breathe easier, and I just get really bad sinus headaches, really bad migraines. Every time I fly, I have to use a neti pot. I have to take nasal sprays. I'm actually doing a 2-month allergy, I guess, detox or non-detox. I'm basically taking all this medicine right now. I'm taking a pill for my asthma. I'm taking 2 inhalers, 2 types of allergy medicines, and I'm doing 2 nasal sprays as well. So it's a lot of medicine that I am taking right now. And I was, at the time when I was buying the car, I ordered it and I was not anticipating this, but it was so bad that I can't even look at my phone. And that's why, I did take a break from making videos for a little while and was having some guest people on, because, I just physically can't look at my screen, or even it would even hurt to talk. So when I was getting the car, it is getting a little bit better now after I'm taking my medicine regularly, but even looking at the screen was giving me a massive headache to the point where I couldn't even drive the car. So again, this is definitely not Tesla's fault. These are just personal things that I had an issue with the car. And the 8th reason why I ended up returning the car, which, again, this is not Tesla's fault at all, but it's something that I was really not used to at all. This wasn't, a reason to return it. This was just something I didn't really like about it, is that there's so many sensors in the car. And every time, you're going to park, it starts beeping at you. Every time you're backing up, anytime you get too close to somebody in traffic, it's just beeping at you. There's just a lot of technology. And yes, I understand I'm getting old, technology maybe is, maybe not for me, whatever you want to call it. But, don't get me wrong, it's an amazing car. I love the car. I love all the technology in the car. But I was getting, I guess, a little anxious every time all the sensors, all the beeping was going off. But, you know, again, this is something I could have gotten used to. I just wanted to throw that in there because this was, again, was something I didn't like. Don't get me wrong, I really loved the car. I loved how fast it was. I loved how smooth it rode. I love the fact that it doesn't use gas. I love the fact that, you know, there's hardly any maintenance to it. Tesla was a great buying experience. I guess I said it wasn't that good of a buying experience. It was just totally different. You know, you order the car pretty much like you're ordering something on Amazon. It picks up, you walk right in, and they basically just give you the car. You know, it's not like, you know, I was in and out of there within 10 minutes. And it's not like a normal buying experience, but anyways, I was just saying, like, you know, I really do like the car, don't get me wrong. I totally recommend buying one, and I still do plan on getting one. However, I can't afford the Model X, which I want. So I probably won't be getting one for a little while, but I might get a used one. However, the salesman did tell me not to get a used one because they don't have the side mirrors on them. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. Again, I hope that this did clear the air, and hopefully by the end of this video, you actually leave the video a thumbs up. I hope there's not too many thumbs downs on this video, but anyways, I just wanted to clear the air on why I returned the car. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great and amazing day. I will talk to y'all soon. Bye, guys.